Right now on News 3 at 6, we are following the latest out of Dallas with national and local perspectives on the situation, plus one officer involved in that chaos with ties to Wisconsin.
This is News 3 at 6.
Following up tonight on the tragedy in Dallas, 5 officers are dead, 7 others injured after a peaceful protest ended with gunfire last night. Protesters took to the streets of Dallas peacefully demonstrating after videos had surfaced showing the shooting deaths of 2 black men shot and killed by police in both Baton Rouge, Louisiana and Minneapolis. Well, that protest ended when gunshots were fired at officers. Also injured were 2 bystanders, and today some of the country's top leaders addressed the fatalities.
What we do know is that there has been a vicious, calculated, and despicable attack on law enforcement.
An attack on the people who protect us is an attack on all of us.
Officers in Dallas ended the standoff with a suspect by detonating an explosive near him with a robot, killing him. Now, here are some of the facts that the Dallas police chief released today. 100 officers responded to the scene, moving demonstrators away from the gunfire. 2 snipers reportedly were fired at police officers from higher elevations. 3 suspects were taken into custody. Now, one of the officers injured last night is a Wisconsin native. Our Keely Arthur spoke to her mother earlier today. She told us a fellow officer died in her daughter's arms.
I'm in rural Fox Lake, right in front of the home where injured Dallas officer Gretchen Rocha grew up. But her mom tells us that there's no place she would have rather been Thursday night than in Dallas with her fellow officers.
Gretchen's was my little tomboy.
A girl from a family of 7 with a certain kind of unexplainable toughness.
I hope I don't embarrass her if she sees this, but when she was 5 years old, she was addicted to John Wayne videos.
That grit, combined with an innate need to protect people, set Gretchen Rocha's path early on.
Who always said she wanted to be a policeman or go into the military, which I thought for sure she was going to outgrow this. Was I wrong?
Her mom, Diane Baer, says her daughter hit the ground running, getting an associate's degree in criminal justice at Madison College and interning at Madison's police department prior to that.
She was particularly adept at doing work with Amigos in Azul, one of our outreach groups for Latino emphasis.
At 23, Gretchen became one of Dallas's finest, receiving her diploma just 1 month ago.
She loves her job.
It was an exciting move, but one leading her straight into Dallas's chaos Thursday night.
Get back! Get back!
I thought it was gunshot wounds. I was really afraid when I thought that. But it was shrapnel wounds, and she was okay, and she Facebooked, "You guys, I'm okay."
She was released from the hospital early Friday morning, but the emotional healing will take much longer.
She was driving somebody, and I guess he died right with her on the way. And, and she's probably trying to comfort him and tell him he's going to be okay, and that must have been horrific for her.
Diane is quick to add that Gretchen, tough from the very beginning, was exactly where she was meant to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm proud of her. Very proud of her.
And Diane says that she believes the tranquility that her daughter grew up with here and the faith that she carries with her will sustain her through this very tough time. In Fox Lake, Keely Arthur, WISC News 3.
Gretchen moved to Dallas with her husband about a year ago. They have a 10-month-old baby girl named Mia. We have team coverage tonight on how people are reacting here in Wisconsin. Our team of reporters standing by with the latest from local leaders, including police. We start with News 3's Valina Jones, who's live at our news center tonight. Valina, what can you tell us?
Well, Eric, community members in the Young, Gifted, and Black Coalition say they don't support the killings of police in Dallas, but stress that the shootings should not lessen concerns over the killings of black men and women by officers across the country.
It's been one tragedy after another.
Those remarks come after 2 fatal police shootings of black men in Minnesota and Louisiana, and the killing of 5 police officers just last night in Dallas. Here in Madison, Dr. Ruben Anthony, the president of the Urban League, says the only way to stop the polarization between people of color and law enforcement is to work together.
We need to sit down and figure out how we can make it right, because we certainly don't want police officers killed, and we certainly don't want people mistreated or killed at the hands of police.
Members in the Black community say while they're pushing for justice and systematic change to reduce and stop the use of force they say disproportionately targets African Americans, they do not support violence.
I'm outraged by the 5 policemen who were killed, as I'm outraged each and every day when black, brown, white, gay people are killed. Outrage is outrage.
Coach Assad spends his time mentoring underserved youth with community activities through the Mellowhood Foundation. His goal is to provide solid foundations for youth to succeed.
I don't want every young man and young woman to be brainwashed by people in our community to think that police are all bad, because I fight the narrative each and every day that these youth out here are somehow horrible thieves.
A founder of the Young Gifted and Black Coalition says the Dallas shooting points to the growing anger people have over police violence against African Americans.
I mean, it was one individual, and that's really what it was. I'm not going to condone or condemn it. I understand where that anger comes from.
After the shootings in Dallas, YGB says their message still remains the same.
There's been no large open call for a open revolution or anything like that. Black Lives Matter, the organization, has put out peaceful statements. A lot of other organizations have kept things peaceful. The act of a couple individuals is not indicative of other organizations.
Now, Eric, it's important to mention Dallas police say the shooter was not affiliated with any group. YGB says they will continue to hold rallies and call for a power shift in law enforcement to include community control over police. Brannan says they also want Chief Koval to be removed from his position. The group plans to host a rally next week.
All right, Polina, thanks. With heavy hearts, officers around the country had to go back to work today. Chris Gothner caught up with a local officer for his perspective at this tough time for everyone. Chris.
Hi, Eric. Well, the Dallas attacks have officers throughout the country reeling. But I rode with one local police officer today who says despite the challenges officers face nowadays, he continues to love what he does.
It's a very challenging job nowadays.
For Sun Prairie police officer Matt McElroy, police work isn't easy.
We face life and death situations every day.
But in spite of those life or death situations playing out on a massive scale in Dallas last night, he says his passion for police work hasn't wavered.
I feel like there is no better time to become a police officer.
McElroy says for him, the focus is on staying positive and reaping the rewards of being out on patrol.
Every day, dealing with different types of people and different types of calls is very fascinating to me, and it's very rewarding.
He says on days like today, when officers need support, it's good to see the community being there. Today, to remember the officers killed in Dallas, a citizen placed a memorial outside of the police department. Others sending messages of support to Sun Prairie. It's those days, he says, make the challenges of police work worth it.
You may deal with a lot of very terrible calls for service, or you might have people that are not happy to see you, or people that don't respect you on any given day. But then you have days like today where we have somebody in our community that respects us, is thankful for what we do, and enjoys what we do.
And he says giving back that respect is one of the most important things he can do as an officer.
When you have those relationships with people where they're comfortable with you and they respect you, they're going to provide that information, and that makes our job a lot easier, and it makes the community much safer. As long as you're respectful toward people, no matter what their demeanor is, people usually remember that when you come back.
Now, I also talked to Chief Mike Koval of the Madison Police Department. He says he worries that the Dallas attacks could inspire copycats against officers here and across the nation. But he says while officers need to take extra precautions to stay safe, it can't come at the expense of interacting with the community. Eric?
Some great perspectives there in your story and Polina's as well. Chris, thank you very much. And happening right now in Madison, the graduation for the Madison Police Academy. This is taking place at Monona Terrace, started just a few moments ago. This is a live look at the scene as officers and their families prepare for each officer now entering the field. And tonight on News 3 at 10, we will hear from some of the officers' family members as the graduates move into the next steps of their careers. All right, we shift gears now. Next at 6, the weekend is upon us on a bit of a breezy, warm Friday night. Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us with a look at what's ahead for the weekend. Gary?
Actually, Eric, the temperatures are starting to come down, and so is the humidity, which really means that we should have a pretty nice weekend. Visible satellite imagery shows a few clouds moving in the southern part of the state, but they haven't been thick enough to produce any precipitation. As we take a look at Doppler 3000, there have been a few sprinkles up in northeastern Wisconsin, but around our viewing area, so far we've been staying dry. Low temperatures this morning start out very mild thanks to the humidity that was still around. 72 was the overnight low temperature in Madison, and while we hit a high temperature of 82, notice to the north and west, temperatures stayed in the 70s, and as we look at current temperatures, those 70s have moved to the south and east. Here in Madison, we've dropped to 75. Now only Milwaukee and Kenosha and Janesville are at or above 80 degrees. So as we check out the dew points, those also come down. They're in the upper 50s, so the air much more comfortable. By tomorrow morning, we'll be down to about 59 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow is a partly sunny and pleasant day with a high temperature of 79. Let's look at your forecast first.
All right, Gary, thank you. Continuing coverage now of a bus crash that happened today. 8 people who were riding a bus this morning are in the hospital tonight. The bus, a total loss after it rolled into a ditch outside Fort Atkinson. This happened on Highway 106 just after 7 this morning. News 3's Leah Linscheid joins us now. She has the very latest on what happened here, Leah.
Yeah, Eric, the scene was a pretty bad one. Several ambulances and even a few med-flight helicopters showed up to help with those 8 injuries. Now, the vehicle completely ripped apart, as you can see in this video. Police say the bus appears to have crossed the center line, rolled into a ditch, and then hit a utility pole. No word on how those taken to the hospital are doing tonight, but residents who live in the area say they're hoping for the best.
You know, it's sad whenever you hear about, car accidents, whether one person was injured and then to find out that it was a bus transport with multiple people and injuries. Yeah, it's sad. It's definitely sad.
The names of those people will not be released until family has been notified. The owner of that bus, meanwhile, is local out of Fort Atkinson, but it did not want to comment on the crash today.
All right, yeah, we'll try to get some updates. Hopefully all those folks are doing well. Leah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
2 people were hit in separate instances on bicycles in the area yesterday. 12-year-old boy riding his bike up in Reedsburg was hit by a car near State Highway 154 and Golf Course Road. Police say the boy was riding his bike across the state with his parents when he apparently failed to stop at a stop sign, was hit by a vehicle. The boy taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, the second accident happened here near Packers and Aberg on Madison's east side. The fire department says the cyclist was not wearing a helmet when he was hit by a pickup truck. The cyclist was taken to a hospital. His condition unknown tonight. A man from Madison faces charges for punching a cab driver. Sebastian Sochaki was arrested on State Street early this morning. Police say he was kicked out of a bar, then went up to a taxi, started punching the driver. Sochaki was arrested for battery, disorderly conduct, and resisting officers. Investigators are looking into complaints of brakes failing on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Riders say the braking function on the bike's hand lever and foot pedal don't work properly. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 3 crashes and 2 injuries have been reported in connection with that problem. The investigation covers 430,000 Harleys made between 2008 and 2011 with anti-lock brakes. Harley-Davidson representatives did not immediately respond to a request for comment today. Still ahead at 6, Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti has your complete forecast as we all look to the weekend. Plus, preseason honors are rolling in for the Badgers. Hey, football season's getting a little closer. Of that story later in sports. Stay with us. All right, well, the weekend is here, and boy, Gary, the humidity has left the building.
And hopefully it won't be back until after the weekend is over, and I don't think it will be. It might be a little warmer on Sunday, but still the humidity shouldn't be too bad. Our Fair and the Square, of course, tomorrow, boy, look at this. Normally it's really hot, but tomorrow I'm looking for a high of 79 degrees, partly sunny skies, temperatures starting out around 59 at 7 a.m. The farmers market going on then, too. Just a beautiful weekend to be out and about around Madison. Doppler 3000 shows a few sprinkles of rain up in northeastern Wisconsin, but here in the southern part of the state so far we've stayed dry, and we probably will now through the weekend. The time lapse from the WISC sky cam looking off toward the southwest shows some sunshine this morning, then more clouds popped up this afternoon. You can see those clouds building up. We're kind of on the southern edge of a cloud mass, but the live view from the WISC sky cam already shows those clouds starting to thin out. Once the sun starts setting, the air starts to cool off a little bit, and these cumulus clouds will tend to dissipate pretty quickly. Live view from the Quebe Radio sky cam and platform Fayetteville shows mostly or partly sunny skies there, and the Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison shows more sunshine than we saw even an hour ago. As we check out the almanac for today, the high hit 82 after starting out at a muggy 72, but right now we're actually not far from that low for the day at 75. That's because winds have shifted to the northwest at 15, gusting to 31 miles per hour. The dew point temperature has also dropped. It's now at 57, so I'm looking for low temperatures to drop into the upper 50s for tonight as the winds die down. The Weather Prediction Center branch of the National Weather Service, the rainfall outlook over the next 3 days, calling for no rain across much of Wisconsin. So that means a dry weekend and probably Monday as well. But you add in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we probably come up with about another inch of rain generally across much of southern Wisconsin. Heavier amounts of rain will be to our south and the southwestern part of the country. Of course, this time of year usually stays dry. High temperatures so far today have been in the 80s to our south, 70s to our north. You can see a large area of 90s from coast to coast in the southern half of the country. Jet stream up to the north for the most part. A little bit of a dip over the Midwest. That's why our temperatures will turn cooler for the next day or so, but eventually that jet stream will move back to the north and will warm right back up again. Most of the thunderstorm activity now ahead of the cold front, which is to our east. High pressures building in from the west, and temperatures much more comfortable in the 70s behind the front through Minnesota and Wisconsin. So our forecast for tonight, 59 for the overnight low temperature with partly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler and less humid as well. Tomorrow's high at 79 under partly sunny skies, so a pleasant day. Pinpoint City forecast for tomorrow up to 78 in Portage, 79 in Plain with partly sunny skies. Sunday will be a little warmer, up to 86 in Fenimore and 84 for the high temperature in Mount Horeb. South and east of Madison look for partly sunny skies tomorrow. High temperature 78 in Milton, 79 in Stoughton, and then Sunday partly sunny and a little warmer, 85 for the high in New Glarus and 84 in Sun Prairie. 7-day forecast, temperatures back in the upper 80s beginning on Monday through at least Wednesday of next week with more humidity. Shower and thunderstorm chances will be highest from late Monday night through Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms as the humidity starts to drop toward the end of the week. Friday, we're back to partly sunny skies and a pleasant high temperature of 80 degrees.
55 days and counting until Wisconsin and LSU kick off the college football season at Lambeau, and the preseason honors for the Badgers keep on rolling in. Center Dan Volz is on the watch list for the Outland Trophy, which is given to the country's top interior linemen, and Wisconsin Rapids native Vince Beagle also earning some preseason honors. The outside linebacker is on the watch list for the Nagurski Trophy, which is awarded to college football's best defensive player. Now, finalists for both of the awards will be named in November. Former Badger basketball player Jared Berggren is making a return back stateside after 2 seasons of playing in Belgium and Italy. Berggren has been invited to play in the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League. Now, the center did not get drafted out of Madison in 2013, but he has played in 3 summer leagues before with the Magic, the Cavs, and the Pistons. Well, the last time the Brewers played the Cardinals, it didn't really go well at all. The good news, though, is that it was only last weekend, so it should be pretty fresh in their memory banks. Jimmy Nelson will try to get his first win in more than a month tonight when he starts on the mound. Michael Wacha on the other side, who has never lost to the Brewers before. First pitch at 7:10 at Miller Park. Well, fan votes for the All-Star game closed at 3 o'clock Central today, and here's the final tally. In the American League, Michael Saunders headed to Petco Park for the All-Star game on Tuesday. And in the National League, Brandon Belt will represent the San Francisco Giants in San Diego. Ryan Braun finished 5th in fan votes. Now, someone who is making the All-Star roster, 43-year-old Mets pitcher Bartolo Colon. The righty was named to the NL roster today as a replacement for Madison Bumgarner, who has to pitch for the Giants on Sunday, so he will not be available. Colon is the oldest All-Star to make the roster since Mariano Rivera in 2013. Southern Methodist University head coach Larry Brown resigned today, and according to CBS Sports, Brown stepped down because he wanted a long-term deal. The 75-year-old was the head coach of the Mustangs for 4 years, during which SMU went to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1993, and then set out last year on a self-imposed postseason ban after an NCAA investigation relating to academics. Brown had 1 season left on his contract. An update now from the All-England club. Roger Federer going for a record 8th Wimbledon title, but first he would have to get past Canadian Milos Raonic in the semis. Match point there, and Raonic holds on for his first Grand Slam final. And on the other side, the always Wimbledon favorite, Andy Murray, took Tomas Berdych down in straight sets and in less than 2 hours to reach the final at Wimbledon for the 3rd time. Title match is on Sunday. And finally tonight, because I think we all need a moment of some uplifting news to end this week, this is Jamie Watts. She lives in Washington, D.C. and has cerebral palsy, which affects her legs the most. She originally started training to run so she could keep up with family members on a trip, but then she decided to go a little bit further and train for a 5K. And not only did Jamie finish that 5K, she has now made it her goal to complete 34 races by her 34th birthday, and she has never even considered quitting. We'll be right back.
A much better than expected June jobs reports and stocks soaring to close the week. The Dow up 250 points. NASDAQ climbs 80, and it's a new record high close for the S&P at 2130. We're back after this.
Hi, I'm Leah Lynchide. Tonight on the 1-hour Fox 47 News, new Madison police officers are being sworn in tonight. How they're beginning their watch to protect and serve. That, along with the Foxcast and sports, is coming up at 9.
All right, Leah, thank you very much. Let's turn to Gary. One final check of our forecast.
Looking pretty nice for the weekend. Temperatures upper 70s tomorrow, mid 80s Sunday, but with low humidity. The heat and humidity will be back by the middle part of next week. But for the weekend itself, partly sunny skies for both days. Low temperatures drop into the upper 50s, which is nice, comfortable sleeping weather. So, yes, I will give it 5 stars.
5
There we go.
stars.
2 weekends in a row. We're on a roll now.
We
Can
have
we
any
go for
sports
3?
going on this week? We got the All-Star game, so baseball's
Yeah.
already shut it down, right, for a couple days?
Yeah, for a couple of days. But, you know, doesn't matter. Get out and enjoy the weather this weekend, right?
Get out and
Don't
enjoy
watch
the
TV. Go out and enjoy.
I'm going to go watch
Except us. Except us.
That's not good. That's
You
not
can
good. We
watch
don't want
us,
to say that.
But for everything else, you can go out and enjoy the weather.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. Have a good one.
WISC TV3, winner of 3 National Edward R. Murrow Awards, including Overall Excellence.